option, right? You're gonna say, okay, so with everything that you've said, right? Where are we at? What do you feel most comfortable moving forward? So you move them. Will to deliver, right? That's the. And then you got to leave at least 30 seconds to 45 seconds to do what?
Make them feel good and say bye.
And you got to thank the client. Thank the client. Okay? 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I've had 30, 45 seconds, and then like, hey, so tell me how you feel. You have 30 seconds. Thank the client. All right, here we go. Do not ask the client for a fifth option and how they feel with 2 minutes left. Because you will get pegged for that. Pace yourself. That's why we give you the conversation outline. All right, this side of the room is quiet. Ronnie, yeah, I see you. I see. She puts her head on that. She's a hand on the head. She's like, I hope you don't see me. But what are the key words? What are your trigger words?
Guiding principles.
Yeah. So coaching foundations goes back to the big umbrella, right? The macro, right? And it's the pizza pie, right? I call it the pizza pie. It's the circle, right? And it's the 3 pizzas of the pizza pie. That's the coaching foundations. But now it's talking about the guiding principles. Oof. Now I want you to think, what's the laminate image that comes to mind? And we work through like half of a day on the guiding principles. So now think about it, and what are those 4 guiding principles? 4 guiding principles that makes coaching.
But wait, the guiding principles.
What are the 4 guiding?
Okay.
I can't tell you more than besides give you the answers that what you need to know, right? So I'll show you when the image comes up what you need to know.
Well, that's it.
This is important. You got to know guiding principles because it's one of the 3 pieces of the pie, right?
Yeah.
You got to know the competencies. You got to know the process. You got to know the guiding principles. We good? Did we write down what we know? Give me one.
You asked me, did I write it down? I said no.
Give me one.
Code of ethics.
Code of ethics. High ethical standard. Good. Give me another one. Give me another one.
Okay.
Client's agenda.
Okay.
Give me a third one.
Permission.
Right to advance. Right to advance. See, you guys know this. What's number 4?
Motivation.
Which is? Well, you're not going to get away with the motivation, one word. I just kind of told you directly what you have to remember, right?
The will to deliver.
Yeah.
Building commitment through involvement.
There we go.
That's the one. I could kick myself.
Yeah.
Yes. The client focus, the motivation, the permission.
This
the
is
ethics.
where you are present.
Oh, yes.
This is presence. All right? So
Yes.
you cannot be distracted while your client is sharing context with you and you're on your phone and you're staring out the window or at the computer. Look at my face, right? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Because I have witnessed in coaching and client interactions where people are not present. You do not build commitment through involvement when you are not present. They won't trust you with things because they don't think you're invested in what they need you for. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when we talk about guiding principles, ladies and gentlemen, this should be your slide. And I have alluded to Megan because she gave me the word motivation. And what did I say to her?
Give me more. Yeah.
Give me more.
Give me more.
Yes.
Building commitment.
Don't tell me ethics, right? Which someone. Don't tell me client focus. Just
Okay. On the right to advance in the queue.
okay. Yes. Feel good? A little better now. All right, 9. Almost there. This is our last one before. We know the drill. Alicia, you've been quiet though.
Because I'm like, oh snap, I don't remember anything. I'm gonna pass that test tomorrow.
So let me ask you a question. Isn't it good that you have 24 hours
Yeah.
to re-recognize?
I'll be fine.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Alicia, so what's the key?
It is. So the key of 3 practices,
Yeah.
earn the right, guiding principle, earn the right to.
So there's 3 things in this question that you have to be able to unpack. The number 3, your answer will have 3 answers. It's gonna talk about a guiding principle. So I just showed you the guiding principles. There's 4 of them. And it tells you which guiding principle specifically.
Yes.
Earn the right to advance. Right? That's why I'm not going to accept you when you say
Permission.
permission, right? So you got to know this, and you got to know what they're asking, and it really is the flip side of that calamity, right?
Yes.
So again, I'm giving you direction as to what you're going to need to study. You see this, there's going to be in groups of 3, and it really is talking about the guiding principle dealing with the earning the right to advance. Right? And that's going to be the bucket that you have to remember from your laminates, okay?
That's a lot of
Right.
study.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, so 3,
Right.
guiding principle, right, is one of the foundations. And under guiding principle, they're talking about this one. They're talking about earn the right to advance, because there's 4 of them, right?
Okay.
Client's agenda, right? High ethical conduct, standard of conduct. That's not what they're asking. For this question, they want you to focus in on earning the right to advance.
Gotcha.
Okay? And that's what you need to know, right? This is the backside. So that question is talking about this box. Do you understand? So basically, that question wants you to know this box. And up until this point, let me ask you a question, Soleil. Do I need you to memorize word for word every sentence in that box?
No.
Now, if you were me, Soleil, based on what I shared with you, how would you study?
Look at that bold and underlined.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This group.
Yes.
She sits at the front.
This group is the honors AP class. This is the honors AP class.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was really good at the test, and really good. I was like, yo, Regents exam? That's a piece of cake. They can't pass my class. The Regents is the easiest thing. Like, I talk to school leaders, they're like, if I only had passed a state test. State test? You know how low that bar is?
80 number.
Right? Because Ramon and I, we compete. He looks at my results, I look at his results.
I was like, what?
Right? The boogie down Bronx. Where's Ed at? What's he doing? Right? So I love it. So they just affirm me. He says, pay attention to the underline and the bold. You don't have to memorize word for word. But you must associate. You must make the association. When we are talking about earning the right to advance, you have to say, helps the client understand organization and personal values, right? You got to be able to make those connections. Right? That's what we're talking about. Help the client make explicit progress. Now, you got to understand that. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
You won't have to memorize it because you're going to be able to recognize it and match.
Come on, match.
You like matching?
Yes. Because you're giving me
Let's
options.
see, you matching.
All the time, all day.
That's what we're talking about.
Everything you can.
29 seconds.
Yeah.
Are we good? Are we good? How are we feeling? Do we feel a little better? I mean, come on. Come on. No tricks, because you're going to see them just like that tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Open laminates.
Not yet. I'm bringing up my...
This is Columbia. This is not.
Yeah. This is it. Columbia don't believe in open book tests. All right, Dr. Gonzalez, you're up, my brother.
Oh, yes. All right. So, quiz number 10. Yes.
Oh, more.
4 FBI quadrants and the related questions. So, jot down.
Yeah.
What do you think you are? I will tell you, the way I remember this, I try to
who I
put
am.
people to match with the quadrant. So I think of my colleagues, I'm like, Ed, which quadrant is he? You should be able to tell that. I'm like, Reggie, what quadrant is it? You look at people in this room. Who's the L1? Who's that? Right? That's how I remember. And then I start thinking about now, what question would go with that type of person? I already know what Soleil is, right? And I'm like, what question would she be asking right now about this test? I know what question she asks. That's the beauty of this. All right, so think it out. So let's see. Angelo, L1. What question would I think would go with an L1?
I think of L1 as why, the data person.
Data person?
Yeah, you.
Okay. Data person? What do you think, Ronnie? L1. What do you think goes to L1?
I would say choose the why.
Why?
I wants to know.
Sharon, what do you think?
Analytical.
Analytical. So let's see. Let's see. All right. So that's how I want you to think about it, because the more you know that, what matches with, and they should match. If you haven't noticed the crosswalk between poor read and right, did you notice that? Right, it was purposely done because that's how we see the world. All right, I mean crazy. We see the world. All right. There you go.
So what, yes,
Right.
what the objective?
Objective.
Yeah.
So this is why, if you think about it, we talked about, usually when you start conversation with people, you start with what? What kind of questions?
The objective.
Objective question, contextual.
The
Find out
contextual
what's
questions.
happening, what's going on.
Uh-huh.
So that relates to MDI,
I'm
right?
about to, 'cause that's-
Those folks, they tend to be that kind.
So I know.
L2. L2's in the room. Can you just raise your hand? Who's the dominant L2 in the room?
Not me.
Interesting, right? I was having this whole discussion with somebody the other day about new leaders. When I came in, everybody was R1s,
Oh, God.
R2s. They were this side. Right now, you folks are in, tend to now be this way. Isn't that interesting?
That's sad.
All right, very interesting. Well, it's not sad. It just tells you
No, it's
trends.
It's
Trends
robotic.
shift.
It shifts from.
It shifts, right? And the L2 is a person who says, just show me the plan, Dr.
The
Gonzalez.
process.
I don't need to hear about why this is important. Please don't tell me to go save the world. I don't want to. I used to get issues all the time with my staff because I go out there trying to inspire everybody, and they're like, can you just tell me what to do? I just want to know what to do so I can do it well, right? R1,
Oh, God.
they gotta know. It's gotta be deeper. It's gotta go, right? Am I right? It's gotta go beyond, just the plan. Like if you tell me just a plan, I'm like, why this plan? Why not that plan? You see, R1s, it goes right.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a crosswalk, what do you think that relates to with orbit? See the crosswalk
Types
there?
of questions that you're gonna ask in the phases.
All right. So that's how I want you. And then R2s.
Yeah, you. That's it.
Listen, R2's in the room. I'm not gonna shout you out, but everybody here should know who the R2 is once they walk into this room. Because they don't stay quiet. You're gonna know who they are, right? Whether you want to or not. You gotta know who they are. That's the presence of an R2, right? And what's beautiful about an R2 is that sometimes you get in these situations where you need them to rally the group, and people are not gonna be rallied unless they feel like that person connects with them. That wasn't my skill set, right? I had to get somebody to match that because that was my blind spot. I ain't got time for your feelings. Let's talk about that. All right? That's where my R2 comes in. I'm like, R2, help me out because I ain't got time to talk to these people. All right. So there you go. My what, my why, how, who. Please make sure you know this, right? But I also want you, if you noticed earlier, we talked about context is perspective, content is knowledge, conduct is experience, right? So this also flows with that. All right, let's get to the next one. My second favorite. You see why I'm doing these, right? Because I'm the guy who goes to the deeper reading, right? That's who I am. What are the 3 levels of listening? Jot them down. And listen, I like life skills because these 3 levels you should be using with your partner, with your kids, you'll see. You get to those 3 levels. What are the 3 levels? What do you think they are? 3 levels. And again, it's always interesting to see when you talk to people, do they get to those 3 levels? This may be why we have so many issues with our colleagues. Because are we all talking or listening with those 3 levels in place? So let's go to level 1. Level 1, Soledad.
I can't have it because
What do
my
you think is
everyone's
level
blank.
one?
Not even in there.
See, I have a little feeling.
Chapter 3 didn't even
Level
put
one
it in
is
the table.
superficial,
Which is
surface level.
surface level. So in this case, level 1 listening is actually important listening. Level 1, but level 1 is you having that conversation with yourself, right? We call that internal listening. It's important. You can't just ignore it. Come on, how many of you ignore your intuition? No, right? That's your friend. You don't ignore it. It might sometimes take over your thinking. That's a different issue, but you can't just ignore it. So internal, right? So you got to know yourself, right? That's why we're doing this. Part of coaching is knowing yourself. We spend a lot of time knowing ourselves. What's number 2? And this is coactive coaching. So this is the only slide that comes out, that comes from somewhere else, right? So we got the internal. You'll never forget after that conversation. What about the second one?
Focus.
What do you think?
Focus.
Focus?
Yeah.
Focus on
listening.
what?
The
Because I can
speaker.
do internal and focus.
Focus on the speaker.
And who's like, right, the client
Who's on the
or
client.
somebody else. Focus on the other, right? We say focus on the other. Right. So
Focus
you got
on the other.
internal. I'm talking to myself, getting ideas for myself. And we do it all the time, right? Reggie says, or it says prep for the coaching session. You're doing internal.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Let me think about how many. I don't know if I'll do that. Now we're gonna go to focus on others. Very important. And this is back to MBI. My wife. I thought I could actually focus on everything. She just wants me to focus on her. I gotta know that. Otherwise, it's not gonna be a very good conversation. All right? If I'm focused on just me, then it ain't gonna go very far. It's gonna be a short conversation. What is the third one?
Global.
Say it again?
Global.
Global, right? And what do we mean by global?
It's seeing the biggest, the big picture through the listening, but you're thinking about kind of everything in a bigger perspective of all senses. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I have a colleague from Denver who likes to call this the Yoda moment. And he likes to say this is your transcendental listening. He's going, I know, it's way beyond what I need. But that's him, right? He's an R1 too, by the way. And what he's talking about, it's not just global, it's inner, it's you and me, it's everything around you. I don't know if you've ever sat in a room. I went to Soleil's school, and as she's talking, I'm paying attention to what's happening in the hallway. I'm paying attention to what's happening around her.
I got you,
I'm
yeah.
listening to her. I'm also talking inside my head. So this is like the meta.
That's that.
Right? That's why we call it global. Right? So this is connecting all those different. Now, how many times? It's hard to do that.
I think it's called
'Cause
witness.
I don't know how many of us in our roles get to do that because we have so much happening at us. But that is the ultimate listening. Right? So think about that. When you're listening to your partner, you're listening to your students, you're listening to your colleagues. Are we really global listening?
Yeah, that's a mother trait.